We're here with Wayne back in the shop, and Wayne's going to just give us a little one-on-one instruction on putting some stuff together and the creativity that goes to formulating that piece in the beginning. So Wayne, take it away.
Sure. Well, we're working with rusty stuff, and anytime you're working with rusty stuff and you're welding, you've got to clean off a spot where you can weld. We're going to use just a piece of scrap, a heavy chunk of metal, for a base, and we're going to turn electricity on. If you don't use a clean spot to weld on, you're not gonna, it's gonna fall apart. Here I'm using a small grinder with a 50 grit sanding wheel on it. I'm taking the piece from a very rusted piece and turning it into a partial shiny piece so that we can put a base on it. Then we got to go with our idea. In this case here we'll build a small man. Safety glasses are important because you get a lot of sparks around here, but they're kind of inconvenient. Let's see. I'll take this right here. This is a railroad pipe. What I did there was I put a spot for his two arms, clean them off, and a spot on the bottom where I could tack weld it. So we'll set it on top of the piece. And we'll throw on our helmet, get my wire feed out. I use a Lincoln. Okay, ready? Eyeballs? Now you really don't want to look into that, Dave, when I'm doing it. The camera's fine. The nice thing about this stuff is that it's not welding. Yeah, we're using a welder and it could be called welding, but you don't have to learn how to weld. Basically, you got to learn how to do some really basic welding in order to go with a piece. So, we got his body. Okay. I like to use this grinder behind me a lot. Again, we're cleaning a couple spots where we can do some tack welding. Okay. Now, here's one thing that I do. I'll tack without a welding hood. Close my eyes. Tack my piece. Okay. Close my eyes. Tack my piece. Now once I got the tacks on there, now I can take a look at it and say, well, is this good or is this bad? Do I like it? In this case, it's pretty close to what I want. So I'll take a clamp, bring the piece over, and this is a nice quick clamp. Take the piece and clamp it to the bench. I only use a 4x4 piece of metal for a bench with a grinder or a vise, and it's really some real basic tools. Now we got that done, we got to go with some eyeballs. Okay. Normally I'd have this piece set towards me and weld it, but since I'm welding it towards you, I'm kind of welding backwards.
I can shift around if you want me to.
Oh no, I'm fine. You know, in a lot of cases, this piece wouldn't necessarily have to have eyeballs. You know, I mean, if you're building some basic pieces, maybe you want to just go with some, well, I build a lot of figurines. You know, I build pieces with noses and eyes and things like that. Maybe this guy wouldn't necessarily have. Maybe you just have a nose, nice big nose like that. Eyeballs. that would be the finished product there, except for the fact that we have to go back and add some welding to it to make sure that it's nice and strong. Okay, so I throw my hood on. Wire feed welders are very easy to use once you get the basics. Sometimes I'll take, when I get done with the piece, I'll look at it and I'll put a little bit of shine on it. I have a friend who calls that pop. It makes it stand out a little bit more. You can get into a lot of shine if you've got a piece. Now this piece is just a little bit lopsided. It almost sits, you know, and that's because of the burrs on the bottom. So I'm going to clean them up a little. Now, this is a fun little piece, and you can sit here and make a lot of these in a short time. If you have a pile of scrap and you've got some basic tools, some basic knowledge, or you can elaborate. You can get into a larger piece, something that takes a lot of thought. You know, you've got to look at the size of the body, like the dragonfly we looked at earlier. You know, the back of that body had to be a certain shape and size. And that took quite a bit of work because I didn't have the materials I needed. I ended up crushing some small tin to build it.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you very much, Wayne, and look forward to getting with you in the future. Thanks.
You bet.